I'm holding a Wehrmacht capture report filed by Oberleutnant Karl Heinrich on November 29, 1943. This document changes everything we thought we knew about that day over Bremen. This is the wreckage they found, Staff Sergeant Eugene Moran's tail gunner position after his B-17F Rikki-Tikki-Tavi was torn in half at 24,000 feet. The German patrol expected a corpse. They carried body recovery forms. Snow crunched under their boots as they approached through the pine forest near Bremen. But Eugene Moran was alive. He'd fallen 4 miles without a parachute, both arms shredded by 20mm cannon fire, tail section spinning end over end at terminal velocity. Physics gave him 90 seconds to live. And yet, when those German soldiers surrounded the twisted metal, this 19-year-old farm boy from Wisconsin was still breathing. Shallow, ragged, but breathing. Their field doctors called it impossible. No human survives that. But this report in my hands tells the real story. What happens when a man refuses to die even after the laws of gravity pronounce him finished? November 29, 1943, 11:32 a.m. Skies over Bremen, Germany. Oberleutnant Karl Heinrich stood at his 88mm Flak 36 battery on the outskirts of the city, -15 Celsius. North Sea wind cut through his greatcoat like knives. His guns had just fired on the third wave of American bombers that morning. Below them, Bremen burned. Focke-Wulf factories hammered, shipyards gutted. U-boat pens collapsed under 4,000 pounds of high explosive per B-17. Heinrich raised his binoculars. The sky filled with black flak bursts. 300 B-17s flew in tight defensive boxes, their overlapping 50 caliber fire creating a wall no fighter wanted to penetrate. His gunners worked efficiently. Shells screamed upward. One flying fortress erupted in flames and plunged. Another staggered, trailing black smoke. But the rest pressed on, straight and level through the storm, bomb bays opening, payloads tumbling toward the target. Heinrich tracked a straggler breaking formation. Rikki-Tikki-Tavi. Number 2 engine smoked. Propeller windmilled uselessly, falling behind at 180 mph while the formation pulled away at 240. Easy prey. He grabbed the field phone. Luftwaffe control, straggler at Angels 24 bearing 270. Engage immediately. 12 Me-109s climbed from cloud cover below. 8 FW-190s dove from above. The crippled bomber fought alone now, defensive fire from neighboring ships too distant to help. In the tail position, separated by 60 feet of fuselage from his crewmates, 19-year-old Staff Sergeant Eugene Moran gripped the handles of his twin 50 caliber machine guns. Steel gloves locked on frozen triggers. Oxygen mask crusted with ice. -43 Celsius at 24,000 feet. The farm boy from Soldiers Grove, Wisconsin, had enlisted the day he turned 18. Watched training films. Memorized silhouettes. Learned to lead fast-moving targets by wind speed, altitude, deflection. But nothing prepared him for this. His first combat mission, already wounded, already alone. The first Me-109 came from 6 o'clock low, classic tail attack angle. Moran tracked, squeezed. Orange tracers arced through the freezing air. The German fighter's wingtip shredded, spiraled down smoking. First kill, no time to mark it. FW-190s pressed the attack from high 6. 20mm cannon shells punched through aluminum skin like paper. First round tore Moran's left forearm open. Blood-soaked flight suit sleeves instantly. Second round shredded his right shoulder. Shrapnel embedded deep. Pain blinded him. Hands still worked. Barely. He glanced down at his chest-pack parachute. Silk canopy packed tight. Perfect. Except for the dozens of jagged holes from cannon strikes. Shredded. Useless. 4 miles to fall if the bomber broke apart. Instant death. Another FW-190 dove from 4 o'clock high. Moran swung his turret through 60 degrees of travel. Triggers depressed. Tracers found the cockpit. Fighter disintegrated mid-air, trailing debris. Second confirmed kill. Last one he'd see. Then the real catastrophe hit. Not cannon fire, structural failure. The bomber shuddered violently. Control cables snapped inside the fuselage, whipping like steel cables through the air. The tail section vibrated beyond design limits. Metal groaned, twisted. Moran saw the forward fuselage separate cleanly just ahead of his position. Wings, 4 engines, cockpit with pilot and co-pilot dead at controls. Navigator Jesse Orison wounded but conscious in the nose. 8 crewmates gone, tumbling through clouds toward German soil 4 miles below. 3,000 pounds of tail section remained. His cage. It immediately entered uncontrolled tumble, end over end through 24,000 feet of thin, freezing air. 90 seconds to terminal impact. Inside, Moran slammed against armored glass bulkheads. Wounded arms screamed with every impact. Blood sprayed across instruments. 160 mph wind howled through the severed fuselage where the rest of Rikki-Tikki-Tavi used to be. He should have frozen, panicked, prayed. Instead, he reached for the guns. German fighters still circled the falling wreckage, expecting easy confirmation shots. Tracers erupted from the spinning tail section, wild, unaimed, defiant. 15,000 feet. Me-109 scattered in confusion. They'd never witnessed this. A man trapped in a 4-mile falling coffin still pouring .50 caliber fire at them. One took rounds across the fuselage, smoke trailing as it dove away. 10,000 feet. The tail entered flat spin. G-forces crushed Moran against the rear bulkhead. Vision tunneled. Last conscious sight. German pine forest rushing up through broken canopy. Then black. This field notebook belonged to Obergefreiter Hans Weber, one of the soldiers in Heinrich's patrol. 3 pages describe what they found that afternoon. They followed the smoke trail 2 kilometers northeast of Heinrich's battery. Pine forest, fresh snow. The tail section hit at over 200 Malderf, digging a crater 30 feet wide. Twisted aluminum scattered 150 meters through the trees. They expected body parts, blood trails, routine recovery. What they found instead broke every rule of physics they understood. 12:47 p.m., Pine Forest, northeast of Bremen. Obergefreiter Hans Weber kicked through 2 inches of fresh snow, Mauser rifle slung across his chest. His squad moved methodically, 8 men from Heinrich's flak battery, detailed for crash site security. Black smoke still rose through the canopy 200 meters ahead. The sharp tang of burning avgas cut through the pine scent. "Spread out," Heinrich ordered. "Watch for survivors. Americans fight dirty when cornered." They'd seen it before. Wounded bomber crewmen pulling grenades, shooting from wreckage. This was enemy territory. Bremen still burned from the raid. 300 dead already. Civilian and military. No quarter expected. None given. The first pieces appeared through the trees. Spent .50 caliber casings, still warm. Shrapnel holes through every surface. Then the main wreckage. Tail gunner's compartment, severed cleanly forward of the radio room. Impact crater 25 feet wide, 10 feet deep. Hydraulic fluid and blood mixed with the frozen mud at the bottom. Lieutenant Heinrich knelt at the crater edge, scanned with binoculars. No bodies visible. Check the perimeter. Weber moved left, boots crunching. Then he froze. A sound. Weak. Rhythmic. Not wind. Not settling wreckage. Breathing. He signaled the others. Squad converged silently. Weapons ready. 3 meters from the crater lip, they saw it. Crumpled armored glass. Bent .50 caliber barrels, muzzles glowing faintly from recent firing. And behind the mounts, slumped against the rear bulkhead, 1 American airman. Alive. Eugene Moran's flight suit hung in frozen tatters. Both sleeves soaked dark crimson, now icing over. Face gray beneath oxygen mask fragments. Chest rose and fell. Shallow. 15 breaths per minute. Pulse thready at 110. Leaped, Weber whispered. He's alive. Heinrich pushed forward, rifle leveled, glassed the American head to toe. No visible weapons. No sudden moves, just labored breathing through busted lips. One eye swollen shut, the other tracked them slowly, unfocused. "Name?" Heinrich barked in passable English. No response. "Name, rank." Moran tried to focus. German voices, gray uniforms, rifles, not dead, not in hospital, captured. Pain hit then, white-hot through both arms, skull throbbing from impact, ribs cracked. He tried to speak, only blood came. Heinrich motioned 2 men down. "Secure him. Careful, he might have grenades." They slid into the crater on belayed ropes, weapons trained. Cut away the chest-pack parachute, silk completely shredded. Confirmed, no functional chute. 4 miles straight down in that tail section. Impossible. They lifted him out. 160 pounds of frozen, bleeding American draped across their shoulders. No stretcher. Field phone call to Battery HQ. 1 prisoner, tail gunner, critical, send medic. Back at Heinrich's position, field medic Oberfeldwebel Klaus Ritter took one look and shook his head. He shouldn't be alive. Internal injuries, blood loss, hypothermia, broken bones. 90 minutes maximum, maybe less. Moran lay on frozen ground, conscious but fading. Germans argued above him. Standing orders. Enemy combatants get field treatment only if actionable intelligence. This one wouldn't talk, wouldn't survive transport. Waste of morphine and bandages. But then something changed. A Serbian doctor, prisoner of war himself, saw the American through the gathering crowd. Dr. Milan Petrovic had trained in Vienna. Operated on both sides in this war. He pushed through. "He can be saved, let me try." Heinrich hesitated. Serbian POWs weren't trusted. But Ritter agreed. Nothing to lose. The American would die anyway. Petrovic knelt, checked vitals. Fractured skull. Both arms compound fractures. Ruptured spleen likely. He needs surgery now. No field hospital closer than 10 kilometers. Bremen hospitals overwhelmed from the raid. Ritter's morphine frozen solid. No proper anesthesia. Petrovic pulled a morphine syringe from his own kit. Smuggled. Single dose. Injected straight through flight suit. Moran felt the chemical warmth spread. Pain receded to gray distance. Serbian hands worked fast. Splinted arms with tent poles and torn bedsheets ripped from nearby farmhouse. Pressure dressings. No suturing possible. Stabilized for transport. By 2:15 p.m. Wehrmacht ambulance arrived. Hour and a half from crash to evacuation. Petrovic rode along. 72 hours critical, he told Ritter. No anesthesia for surgery. Wooden board restraint. Infection risk 80%. But he might live. The report I'm holding notes it all. Heinrich's signature bottom right. Prisoner secured despite impossible survival. Medical condition critical. Serbian POW physician intervened. What neither doctor knew, navigator Jesse Orison survived forward section crash 2 miles distant. Only 2 men left breathing from 10 who took off from England that morning. 96th Bomb Group, heaviest losses of the raid. But Eugene Moran's story was just beginning. The hardest part lay ahead. Surgery without anesthesia on a wooden board. Serbian hands against German orders. And 17 months in camps that would break stronger men. This is Dr. Milan Petrovic's medical log from Stalag Hospital. Blood smears on the pages. His handwriting shakes on entry Wenger 47. American tail gunner, 4-mile fall, no parachute, surgery without anesthesia. 7 hours of work with field instruments. What he wrote next reveals why he risked everything. Broken humerus, shattered radius, skull fracture. These x-rays arrived days later. But that first night, Petrovic worked by flashlight in a Bremen emergency ward, overflowing with bomb victims. 2:45 p.m., Bremen Field Hospital, overflow ward. The Wehrmacht ambulance lurched to a stop. Doors flew open. 2 medics dragged Moran's stretcher through snow to ward entrance. No time for gentleness. Petrovic followed, carrying his smuggled kit. Inside smelled of carbolic acid, blood, and wet wool. 40 cots lined the walls. All full. Moans filled the air. Oberfeldwebel Ritter shoved through. American airman, tail gunner, possible intelligence value. He glanced at Moran, gray face, labored breathing, arms swollen twice normal size. Probably won't last night. Petrovich knelt immediately. Pulse 120, temperature 34.5 C, hypothermic shock, left arm oozing through field dressing, right forearm bone fragments visible through torn flesh. He needs surgery now, Petrovich said. Both arms are gangrene tomorrow. Ritter snorted. No operating theater free, morphine frozen, no space. Standing orders clear. POWs got basic care only if interrogation pending. This one couldn't even speak. Waste of resources. Petrovich stood, Serbian accent thick. I operated on your officers in Greece, Vienna training. Let me take him or he dies. Ritter eyed the POW doctor. Collaborator? Defiant? But hospital swamped. Bomb victims first. Wooden door on sawhorses. You have 1 hour. No anesthesia. No instruments beyond basics. They dragged a scarred oak door from storage. Balanced it on 2 sawhorses in corner alcove. Flashlights taped to walls. Single bare bulb overhead flickered. 4 orderlies held Moran's limbs. Petrovich washed hands in icy water. No scrub suit, just rolled sleeves. Moran swam in morphine haze, Serbian face above him, German voices arguing. Wooden restraints bit wrists. He understood nothing, only that hands moved with purpose, not enemy hands. Petrovich made first incision. No scalpels, bayonet sterilized in alcohol flame, left arm first. Compound fracture radius. Bone fragments protruded 4 inches. Irrigation with boiled snowmelt. Petrovich picked shards with forceps, clamped bleeding vessels. No suction, rag for blood. Moran screamed. Orderlies bore down. Wooden door creaked. Petrovich worked faster. Splint aligned with tent pole. Wiring through flesh held bones. Pressure dressing. 3 hours, left arm alone. Right humerus next. Clean break but severed artery. Bleeding controlled barely. Petrovich tied vessel with silk thread from his kit. Bone ends filed smooth. No plates. External fixator from bicycle spokes. 4 hours. Skull laceration last. Depressed fracture temporal. Petrovich elevated fragments with screwdriver tip. No neurosurgery drill. Bleeding controlled. Stitches with fishing line. 7 hours total. Flashlight batteries died twice. Orderlies rotated. Petrovich's hands bled from cuts. No breaks. At 10:17 p.m. he stepped back. He'll live. 72 hours critical. Infection biggest risk. Ritter entered alcove. Stared at work. Arms stabilized. Color returning to face. Breathing steadier. Against protocol, he muttered. Serbian POW operates on American bomber crewmen. Heinrich won't like this. Petrovich cleaned bayonet blade. Heinrich found him alive after 4 miles. Call it consistent. Ritter grunted. Truth was hospital needed every pair of trained hands. Bombing left 400 dead. Petrovich just proved his worth. They moved Moran to cot, shared ward with German wounded. Black bread, thin soup, no antibiotics. Petrovich slipped him sulfa powder smuggled from Red Cross parcels. Risked his own neck. Night 2. Delirium hit. Moran screamed through fever, called for mother, warned dead crewmates about fighters, relived fuselage separation endlessly. Ward shook from distant bombing. Other wounded listened. American who fell 4 miles without shoot. Tail gunner who fired from wreckage. Man who should be dead. Petrovich sat bedside turns. Wet cloths on forehead. No medicine beyond sulfa. Serbian doctor watched German guards watch him. One wrong move. Both shot. But contract unspoken. He'd saved the American. Now Germans needed him too much to interfere. Day 3 dawned. Temperature broke. 37.2 C. Arms weeping but no gangrene smell. Pulse stabilized. 88. Moran opened good eye. Serbian face swam into focus. You saved me, he rasped. Petrovich nodded. Keep breathing. Word spread through hospital, then Stalag network. American survived impossible fall. Serbian POW performed miracle surgery. Oberleutnant Heinrich visited day 5. Signed report. Prisoner condition improved. Serbian intervention noted. Transfer to Stalagluft IV. But transfer meant separation. Petrovich knew Stalagluft camps brutal. No doctors like him, no Red Cross parcels regular. 17 months stretched ahead. Moran's war just beginning. This card proves it. Prisoner number 24791, tail gunner, 96th Bomb Group. Survived structural failure at 24,000 feet. Germans documented the impossible because they witnessed it. Farm boy who fell 4 miles refused to become statistic. What waited in Stalagluft IV would test that refusal harder than physics ever did. Death marches, starvation, Soviet advance turning camps into kill zones. But that's next. This is Eugene Moran's official Stalagluft IV prisoner card, number 24791, tail gunner, 96th Bomb Group. The notation reads, survived structural failure at 24,000 feet without parachute. Germans documented the miracle because they saw it. But this card also marks the beginning of 17 months that would test Moran's will far beyond the fall. Stalagluft IV sat in Pomerania, eastern Germany. Built for captured Allied airmen, 8 compounds, barbed wire, watchtowers. By January 1944, 4,200 prisoners packed wooden barracks designed for 1,800. Moran's war became survival. January 12, 1944. Transport to Stalagluft IV. The Bremen hospital truck rattled east through fresh snow. Moran lay strapped to a bench, arms in crude splints. Serbian doctor Petrovich gone, separated at camp gates. Pain meds finished. Fever returned. Each pothole shot lightning through shattered bones. Arrival at 4 p.m. Guard dogs barked. Floodlights swept new prisoners. Head count. Delousing with DDT powder that burned open wounds. Shaved head. Issued uniform. Threadbare wool. Wooden clogs. Assigned Barrack 6B, Block 3, Bunk 3 high. No mattress. Straw only. First meal. Black bread 300 grams. Thin rutabaga soup. No meat. 800 calories daily against 4,000 needed for forced labor. Moran weighed 160 pounds on capture. Dropped to 112 by March. Ribs visible. Arms healed crooked. Permanent disability. Camp routine ground men down. Revel 5 a.m. Roll call twice daily, 30 minutes each in sub-zero wind. Work details. Chopping wood, clearing snow, digging latrines. Punishment for slow work. Standing at attention 4 hours. No food. Luftwaffe guards professional but distant. No beatings like army camps. Followed Geneva Convention on paper. Red Cross parcels arrived irregularly. 1 can spam, chocolate bar, powdered milk per 10 men monthly. Black market thrived. Americans traded cigarettes for German sausage. Moran's arms limited him. No heavy labor. Assigned scut work. Peeling potatoes, cleaning latrines. Fellow POWs stared at first. 4-mile fall. Fired from the tail. Legend grew. Senior officers visited. Wanted details for escape committees. Moran spoke little. Nightmares woke him screaming. Headaches started month 2. Skull fracture complications. Daily migraines. No aspirin. Fellow prisoners brewed tea from pine needles. Vitamin C substitute. Scurvy appeared anyway. Gums bled. Teeth loosened. Worse came spring 1944. Rumors of invasion. Guards tightened. Escape attempts tripled. 3 tunnels discovered under Block 2. Punishments escalated. Solitary confinement. Bread and water 7 days. Moran kept head down. Wrote letters home. Censored. Doing well. Food adequate. Expect home soon. Lies. Mother sold farm for food parcels. Sister knitted socks. Mail took 3 months each way. Reality. 25 missions required for rotation. He'd flown 1. 24 left. Statistically impossible. D-Day changed everything. June 6, 1944. BBC broadcast smuggled on crystal sets. Normandy invasion. Germany squeezed 2 fronts. Food parcels stopped completely. Soup thinned to water. Rats grew bold. Dysentery swept Block 3. 20 dead by July. Moran's arms ached in damp cold. Infection flared twice. No sulfa powder. Fellow gunner from 388th Group lanced abscesses with smuggled razor. Gangrene smell lingered weeks. Weight 98 pounds. Skin gray. Cheeks hollow. Big week hit next. February 1944. 8th Air Force hammered Luftwaffe production. 96th Bomb Group lost 12 ships. Friends from Snetterton Heath gone. Moran marked names on bunk slats. 18, 22, 27. Kept count. Escape committee approached him summer 1944. Your story demoralizes guards. Help tunnel. Arms too weak for digging. Contributed cigarettes instead. Tunnels collapsed twice. Third succeeded October. 5 officers away. Recaptured within 72 hours. Public execution watched by all 4,200 prisoners. Winter 1944-45 broke camp. Minus 25 Celsius. No coal. Barracks 8 degrees inside. Men slept dressed, boots on. Frostbite claimed toes, fingers. Typhus outbreak killed 43. Moran survived on willpower. Remembered Wisconsin dairy farm. Cows to milk at 5 a.m. Father teaching rifle marksmanship. Mother cooking roast. Anchors. January 1945. End game. Soviet artillery rumbled 40 miles east. T-34s advanced. Camp commandant panicked. Ordered evacuation. Death march west. 4,200 prisoners formed columns. Wooden clogs. No coats. Minus 18. Snow waist deep. Moran shuffled in line. 92 pounds. Guards shot stragglers. 50 fell first week. Bodies left roadside. Wehrmacht retreating fought rearguard actions. POWs caught crossfire near Elbe River. Moran hid bomb crater 3 days. Ate snow. Stole potato from abandoned farm. American Third Army reached them February 27th. Patton's tanks. Combat engineers liberated column. Germans fled. Moran weighed 87 pounds. Arms atrophied. Walked with cane first month. Hospitalized Frankfurt. Then England. Home May 1945. This photo. Moran at liberation. Eyes sunken. Cheeks hollow. But alive. One of 3 men in history to survive tail separation fall. Only 96th Bomb Group gunner from Bremen raid to return home. His war ended. But questions remained. Why Germans documented so carefully? Why Serbian doctor risked everything? And what became of the navigator who survived 2 miles distant? These 4 documents survived the war when men didn't. Wehrmacht capture report, Serbian medical log, Stalagluft IV prisoner card. And one final piece, navigator Jesse Orison's evasion report, declassified 1987. They tell the ending no one expected. 2 men walked away from Rikki Tikki Tavi, Moran in the tail, Orison in the nose, 4 miles apart, both captured, both survived. 96th Bomb Group lost 18 bombers that day, 180 men dead or missing. Only these 2 came home. May 1945, Frankfurt General Hospital. Eugene Moran lay under clean sheets for the first time in 17 months. Third Army doctors stared at his chart. 4-mile fall, no parachute, compound fractures both arms. Survived Stalagluft IV death march. They called it medically impossible. X-rays showed bones healed crooked, permanent disability, nerve damage, migraines chronic, nightmares permanent. He weighed 112 pounds at liberation, gained 20 in first month. Real food, morphine, clean bandages. First hot meal, mashed potatoes, gravy, chicken, brought tears. Wrote mother, coming home, tell everyone. June 17, 1945, Mitchell Field, New York, C-54. Skymaster touched down. Moran among 1,200 repatriated airmen. Band played. Families waited behind wire. He spotted mother, sister, walked down ramp unaided. Arms in slings. Cane. Hollow cheeks filling out. Crowd cheered. Flashbulbs popped. Soldiers Grove, Wisconsin through parade. Population 617. Every house flew flag. Dairy farm sold for Red Cross parcels. Bought back on veterans loan. Purple Heart. Air Medal. 3 campaign stars. Local paper. Farm boy falls 4 miles, lives to milk cows again. But questions haunted. Why did Oberleutnant Heinrich document so carefully? Standard procedure called for enemy combatant neutralized. Instead, survived impossible fall. Serbian intervention noted. Heinrich died 1962. Never spoke publicly. His report survived estate sale, archived Bundesarchive. Why did Dr. Petrovich risk everything? Serbian POW operating on American bomber crewmen broke every protocol. Vienna-trained surgeon could have stayed silent, safe. Instead, smuggled sulfa. Worked 7 hours by flashlight. Petrovich liberated 1945. Returned Belgrade. Practiced till 1978. Died never mentioning Moran. His log survived hospital fire. The navigator's story connected final dots. Jesse Orison's forward section hit 2 miles west. Different patrol captured him. Wounded leg, broken collarbone. Conscious, interrogated. Sent same Stalagluft IV train as Moran. Different block. Never met. Orison's evasion report notes. Heard rumors of tail gunner who fired during fall. Assumed legend. Both walked out May 1945. Orison to 385th Bomb Group reunion. Moran to Wisconsin farm. No contact. War swallowed their paths. December 1986. 96th Bomb Group reunion. Raleigh, NC. Old airmen swapped stories. Moran, 62, mentioned Bremen. Fired from falling tail 4 miles down. Room went quiet. Orison, table over, heard. Walked across. You the tail gunner? First meeting, 43 years late. Embraced, 2 of 10. Only survivors. They corresponded till Moran's death 2002. Age 78. Heart attack. Farm passed to grandson. Orison followed 2009. Final letters archived 8th Air Force Museum. These papers outlasted them both. Wehrmacht report proves Germans witnessed miracle. Serbian log proves one POW saved another across enemy lines. Stalag cards prove 17 months unbroken. Orison's report proves 2 men beat statistics. What made the difference? Not luck, not physics. Will. Farm boy gripped guns when he should have prayed. Serbian doctor worked by flashlight when he could have walked away. Oberleutnant documented truth when protocol demanded silence. November 29, 1943, wasn't just Bremen's third raid. It was proof that some men refuse the grave physics prepared. Some doctors see patients across uniforms. Some officers record miracles they can't explain. The archives keep their truth safe. If this story touched you, please hit like. Each click tells the algorithm this piece of history deserves to be remembered. We dedicate ourselves to rescuing these forgotten stories from the archives. If you want to join us on this mission, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or region in the comments and tell us if anyone in your family served. Thank you for ensuring Eugene Moran and the 2 survivors from Rikki Tikki Tavi don't fade into silence. They deserve to be remembered.